Hey, so in my video, when a game's considered retro, I said the border is kind of around the 7th generation, so Wii and PlayStation 3. Flappy Bird released for the iPhone 5 in 2013. The iPhone 5 came out 2 months before the Wii U. The Wii U was like the first console of the 8th generation, so that makes iPhone 5 a 7th generation console. 7th generation is on the retro border, so we count it when it's convenient. And then in my video, Why Are Retro Games Better?, I made a point of saying that casual mobile games are fully legitimate games. So I get that covering Flappy Bird on this channel is kind of borderline. Not that kind of borderline. I get that this one's borderline, but we can do it. Flappy Bird's a retro game. I'm Bill, and I've been ill for the last week, so my voice is going to be a little bit sexier than usual. I'm afraid we're all just going to have to deal with that together. So what the heck is going on with Flappy Bird? And how unfortunate is it that I came up for a script for one of my rare sort of timely videos and then got ill so I couldn't do it until today. Whatever, we are where we are, and I'll do my best to bring you up to speed. There will be a little bit of swearing along the way, so keep an eye out for that. Flappy Bird was developed by Nguyen for the iPhone. Nguyen grew up in Vietnam playing really the same games I did when I was growing up. He's a Nintendo kid too. On his developer website, .Gears Studios, he describes his games as heavily influenced by retro pixelated games in its golden age. Pure, extremely hard, and fun to play. Well, that sounds like NES to me. His first release on iOS was Shuriken Block back in April 2013, where you have to tap on the little falling shurikens before these guys get their heads split open. That's it. That's the whole instruction there. Tap. You've got 3 lives, and it's a pretty fun, challenging little game. His second release is the one we all know and know. It's Flappy Bird. The simplest controls possible. Tap anywhere on the screen to make the little bird flap. He uploaded it to the App Store in May 2013, and then for a while, nothing happened. Nguyen's goal was to make, in his words, something fun to share with people. He'd done that. Some ad revenue might trickle in here and there, but he got straight onto his next project, Super Ball Juggling, which released in November 2013. This game's a little bit harder to get than Flappy Bird. The timing is trickier when you've got to tap the screen, but it's the same sort of idea really. Tap the screen at the right time, get a point. Fail to do it, start again. Flappy Bird had the advantage of being able to see a little bit of what was coming up. You could see better what you were doing, and there was a little bit more strategy involved. Just a little. In planning where you wanted the bird to be on the screen for future pipes, while also avoiding the one that was directly in front of you. You could always see like 2 pipes ahead, and this set it apart from the other games, which had really no strategy whatsoever. They were just purely about timing, just reacting immediately to what was on the screen. Flappy Bird was the best game of the 3, and would go viral in 2014. Nguyen got into programming at age 16 after falling in love with Super Mario Bros. On a Famiclone. Once he got into game development professionally, the only games company in Vietnam at the time was making mobile games, Punch Entertainment. When the iPhone came along, Nguyen was fascinated by the touchscreen and the possibilities that it opened up for gaming. He wanted to make games for commuters, idea being people who'd have one hand on their phone and one hand just holding onto the rail of whatever public transport they were on. Flappy Bird was the perfect realization of this goal. A simple, fun game that anyone could play with one hand that didn't take up too much time to, just have a go at in whatever time you had available on your commute. And to be fair, it's a great game. Nguyen nailed it. The predictable movement of the bird against the exaggerated gravity, punishing wrong moves, but also letting you know that every wrong move was your fault. The pacing where you could see 2 pipes ahead, even the sound effects, the nice sort of weighty slap when the bird crashes into a pipe. And simple scoring. 1 point per pipe passed, so you could easily compare with friends. I definitely sat around a table with friends at a pub when this game was new, just passing the phone around, and we were all glued to the screen, not just when we were playing it, but when other people were playing it too. We were all, looking over each other's shoulders and stuff and having a good time with it, and lowest score buys the next round. Flappy Bird deserved to be a phenomenon, and a phenomenon it was. On January 17th, 2014, after being ignored for months, Flappy Bird was #1 in the charts for both iOS and Android. And 2014 YouTube was all over it.
You know how I've been searching for my real dad for the past 8 years? Well, I think I finally found him. What are you doing?
Playing Flappy Bird.
That game looks dumb. I would never play that.
Thanks for suggesting this game. I now understand why. You dicks. It's not even fucking hard. Look at this shit. Look at this. Ah!
Back at it again with more Let's Play. Flappy Bird, that is.
Give me like 5 more tries. I swear I'm really good at Flappy Bird.
So at this point in the game's history, Nguyen was raking in $50,000 a day in ad revenue. And that was nice for a little bit, you know, taking his friends out to expensive dinners and stuff. Meanwhile, his parents didn't even know he'd made a game until they saw his face on TV one day. And then the paparazzi started knocking down their door to find out more about Vietnam's new rockstar developer. Please give me peace, Nguyen tweeted. And what happened next upset him most of all. He started getting angry messages from parents of children who'd been failing in school, smashing up their phones in frustration, and then still going back to the game later. People were losing their jobs over this game, and as a former Counter-Strike addict, Nguyen understood. Video game addiction is, and always has been, a serious affliction, and like any other addiction, it ruins lives. If I'd had the chance back then, I would have tried to comfort Nguyen by saying if it hadn't been his game, it would have been something else that people were getting hooked on. But I don't know how much that would have mattered. He just wanted to make a simple game to share with people, to make them smile on their commutes. But instead, people were getting angry with him, abusing his creation and blaming him for it. It had got a little bit out of his control, and I totally understand what he did next.
Hi, all fellow Flappy Bird users. My name is Nguyen. Today I would like to announce that I will be shutting down Flappy Birds for good. Flappy Bird has been one of my biggest success, but it has also ruined my simple life. So thank you all for supporting me, and I'll see you guys soon enough.
Man, the juxtaposition of ruining my simple life and thank you for supporting me. Here's a nice dude who's passionate about game development and has just fully had enough of your shit. Videos would come out like how Flappy Bird ruined its creator's life, but I don't think it was like that. Not really. After taking Flappy Bird down, Nguyen just kept doing what he loves, and he's made a bunch of other retro-style pixel games since. No doubt he had a hard time when the game went massive, but by taking it down, he released that pressure. And though his life would never be the same as it was before, he could still have a simple, fulfilling life that made him happy. He took the game offline in February 2014, and then in August 2014 he followed up with 2 very similar games, Flappy Bird's Family for the Amazon Fire TV stick, and Swing Copters. His decision to pull the original Flappy Bird wasn't a fully emotional decision, but a logical one. He saw the damage that it was doing to other people and, I guess, to himself and to his family, and he wanted to stop it, so he stopped it. That's not to say he wasn't emotional, of course he was, but he wasn't irrational. He dealt with his creation and then continued on a smaller, sort of more comfortable scale to make new games based on it, and to pull in a little bit of profit. Good call, Nguyen. That's how it's done. Actually, this little exchange on Twitter sums up really neatly where the guy was emotionally at the time. This is a funny and witty statement about his game, and he's responding to comments with good humour. Also, thanks to Nguyen for keeping all your tweets up from that time. And then this tweet, his infamous "I cannot take this anymore," was made that same day, 8th February 2014. It must have been one hell of a day. That's not a joke. I'm sure something happened that afternoon that gave him the extra little bit of push he needed to make this decision. Maybe more messages from relatives of people suffering game addiction, or more people bothering his parents for information, who knows. He stopped tweeting for a while after that, and his next communication came in the form of this interview with Rolling Stone a month later. And in it, he sounds like someone with no regrets. Even at the bottom mentions that he's considering a re-release, but maybe with a health warning this time. And then the craze continued after the game was taken down, but in hindsight, this was kind of manufactured, I think. News organisations around the world put out stories that people were selling iPhones with Flappy Bird preloaded on eBay for like $100,000, and no, I'm pleased to report. There was one auction that reached nearly $100,000, and all of these articles were published before eBay took down that one auction. All of this was just in the few days after the app was pulled. Months afterwards, there were people asking on Reddit, is my old iPhone with Flappy Bird worth anything? You know, people who wondered if maybe the hype might be real. And the answer came, well, it's worth about as much as an iPhone. Or about a tree fitty.
And I yelled, I said, what do you want from us, monster? And the monster bent down and said, I need about 350.
If there ever was a rush to buy iPhones with Flappy Bird on, it was really short-lived and never reached the sort of extreme prices the headlines at the time would suggest. I can imagine maybe second-hand iPhones went up in price like a little bit, like if they had the game on it, just because people love to be part of a hype train. But nah, not by much. Bet a lot of Android users learned to sideload APKs though. So basically what happened after Nguyen took the game down is exactly what he wanted. His world got quieter and he could get back to making games, except with a little bit more money in his bank account. This could have been a happy ending for Flappy Bird. But 10 years later, I hate the internet. Like and subscribe if you hate it too. This video and the last one are a little bit old man finds himself in a new world he doesn't understand. And I'm not getting any younger, so if that's the kind of content you're into, then hit that subscribe button. But for those lucky enough to not have been paying attention to this story, the short version is that a bunch of arsehole tech bros thought the planet wasn't dying fast enough, so to fulfill their personal fantasies of restarting the human race themselves in human colonies on Mars where no one can hear you scream, they invented cryptocurrency and AI. In a way, it's perfect. Kill the planet faster and profit from it so you can build your spaceships. The fact that we have a billionaire space race going on at the same time as extreme poverty shows that we really fucked up somewhere along the way. NFTs, or non-fungible tokens if you're fancy, are like the apex of this late-stage hyper-capitalist fuckery. Let me explain real quick what they are. Here's a picture of a monkey. Take a screenshot of it. Cool. You just stole someone's monkey. The promise of NFTs is that the idiot who buys this monkey has full copyright for how they want to use that specific image of a monkey. Normally, when we buy media, we're basically just buying the right to consume that media. But this monkey is more than just a picture of a monkey. It's also a certificate of ownership of this monkey, stored on the blockchain. Basically a database stored on a distributed network of overpowered computers owned by people who don't know how to have fun with powerful computers. Somewhere in that massive database on all these millions of computers, there's a little note saying, Bill owns this monkey. I don't, obviously. I stole this monkey. But no one's going to check. You don't just get to print it out, hang it on your wall, look at it and enjoy it. You also get to use it in things that you create. Because you don't just have that picture, you have copyright to that picture, and the blockchain is how you prove it. But nobody does that. I don't understand how anyone would think that they could. Because you can't give this monkey a different hat. You can't give this monkey a different facial expression, because someone else might own that monkey with that specific hat and facial expression combo that you've come up with. No, you get to put exactly this monkey as, I don't know, your profile picture on Twitter, and you own the copyright to that. But who's checking the copyright of your profile pictures? And why would you want this anyway? It's shit! Basically, NFTs is just a bunch of people buying and selling pictures of monkeys with certificates of authenticity. Sound like a pyramid scheme? There's a reason it sounds like a pyramid scheme. And the computing power required to handle these digital currencies is huge. It didn't have to be. There were other ways of doing it. But Bitcoin was not built for power efficiency, and neither were any of these other technologies that followed it. The whole concept of getting your computer to solve arbitrary sums called mining is inherently a terrible idea for the environment. And it doesn't scale well either, because a distributed database across millions of computers with no centralization whatsoever that's robust enough to handle financial transactions is computationally very expensive. I kill the planet when I mine Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, sell Bitcoin, and these NFTs are the same. But some people, mostly right-wing nutjobs who think the environment is a hoax, freaking love these pictures of monkeys. AI too. Do you know how much electricity it cost Elon Musk to create this picture of Elon Musk and Donald Trump kissing? I had to see it, now you have to see it too. Anyway, it's a lot. A ChatGPT AI query takes about 10 times the electricity of a Google search. And these AI tools are being used a lot more than you know. Got to write an assignment? Have AI do it. Got to translate a document? Have AI do it. Got to write a letter to your patient about their medical treatment? Well, writing is hard and you trained in medicine. That patient's data goes off to OpenAI's data centers and is used to train the AI. Maybe if someone were to ask the AI the right questions, they could get access to that data. Who knows? OpenAI's got it. They can do what they want with it. Data protection issues with AI go much further than copyright, which I don't particularly care about, as you might know. I care much more about privacy. And it's our private data that's going up into these clouds being used to train these AI systems, whether we like it or not. Facebook recently announced that they're starting to use posts from UK and Brazilian users, in addition to already using posts from American users, to train their own AI. The EU is protected for now, thanks to our privacy laws, but none of that stops the professional person who doesn't want to write a letter themselves from just uploading all of your information and giving it up to AI training in the process. But back to the environment. In the US right now, extraction of fossil fuels is ramping up to support the sudden increased electricity demand from AI data centers. Microsoft and Google have suddenly gone very quiet about their past climate pledges since they went all in on AI and their emissions started to soar. And as this AI bubble brings rapid investment into AI companies, right alongside it, you see increased investment in fossil fuel companies. Parts of the planet are already on fire. And this AI boom is not slowing down. Silicon Valley investors just chucked millions of dollars at this asshole to make a Twitter ripoff, except it's just bots. No human followers at all, only AI. An infinite horde of imaginary friends in your pocket so you can live out your main character syndrome, which nobody other than me should be having anyway. Meanwhile, traditional social networks like Facebook have become overrun with AI slop. Everyone who's watching this, my age and younger, has experience of an older relative showing them a picture they saw on Facebook of a disabled girl with a birthday cake and a sign that says, "Today is my birthday, please like," or some sort of impossible arts and crafts, or, for reasons that I don't think humanity will ever understand, Shrimp Jesus. And those relatives aren't going, "Hey, look at this AI-generated bullshit. Isn't it amazing how our culture is dying right alongside the planet that sustains us?" No. They're saying, "Look at this beautiful photo that Uncle Frank shared." You know, I don't usually swear in my videos, but this shit is so fucked up. What happened to us that has us burning the planet even faster so we can look at this picture of a bird with balls wishing us 99 years of good luck? I'm going to tell you. And some of you aren't going to like it. It's capitalism, obviously. The system that we all developed because figuring out the exchange rate between chickens and grain and labour was too complicated. And now you've got little old ladies made of impossible crochet. This is what Bioshock was warning you about. Capitalism tells you to care about one thing, and it's your bottom line. And screwing other people and the planet has never not turned a profit. So where's the harm with this stuff on Facebook? Well, at a base level, you've got all these posts being shared, often with links to other scams and whatever that people are spreading around and they're getting clicked on, and people are getting exploited, or just getting some shady adverts in front of their eyeballs. But it gets worse. Here's a picture of Donald Trump carrying 2 cats and running away from 2 black men. The racist stereotype about foreigners eating your pets is as old as the hills, and it's recently been resurrected for the US presidential race. If you're planning to vote for this racist Republican grifter, then you're welcome to stick around, but if, and only if, you're willing to consider that just maybe you could be on the wrong side of this one, and just keep an open mind. Otherwise, neither of us is going to enjoy you being here for this part, so don't worry about it. But these are ridiculous, right? No one thinks these are real. Okay, two things. Firstly, yes, they absolutely do. Sure, not many as a percentage, but enough in raw numbers. Come here, darling. Come here, darling. Yeah, you can join in for the serious videos too. Why not? No one's eating you. No one's eating any cats in Springfield, Ohio either. Secondly, notice how I'm talking about how ridiculous these images are, and not so much about the racism behind them. For those who know that these images aren't real, it's all about muddying the waters. It's much easier to make memes of your racism than it is to defend it intellectually. The statement that Haitians in Springfield, Ohio are eating cats and dogs is very easy to dispute. We've checked, and they're not. It's nothing more than a racist conspiracy theory. But how do you debate this image? You don't. It's just a distraction. And man, is it ever effective, and they know it. The more insidious side to politics and AI is the Taylor Swift thing. Videos and images that claimed to show Taylor Swift supporting Trump went viral. And if you're the type of person who's willing to believe a Facebook post by... Alright, let me get this right. The neighbour of the mother of the friend of someone who lost a cat in Springfield, Ohio, you might also be willing to believe that Taylor Swift supports Trump based on these sorts of images. Because at the time, she hadn't said anything else. And it's partly due to these AI images that she had to make explicit her support for Harris. And while I'm here, you can't be a good person and have a private jet. It's literally impossible. There are no heroes here. Don't seal my water, I need it. I'm ill. It's all quite horrible, isn't it, what we've done to ourselves and our planet? And for what? Let's take a moment for a break, because I can do those now. So get yourself a snack, take a little break, reset, and then we'll get off this sidetrack and go back to talking about Flappy Bird. Remember to stay hydrated. I'll see you in a minute. Welcome back to the Retro Sofa. Dong Nguyen is too pure for this fallen world. He didn't want to become rich and famous, he just wanted to do what he always did and still does, which is to create fun, challenging, retro-style video games and share them with people. So, obviously, he got ripped off. He wouldn't play the game, and as a result, he's lost his game. In September 2023, GameTech Holdings LLC filed a claim in New York to the US Patent and Trademark Office, arguing that Nguyen's trademark to Flappy Bird had effectively been abandoned. In October, the court wrote to Nguyen and said he had 40 days to respond to the claim. He didn't. The court issued a judgment by default and the trademark was abandoned. Nguyen never saw a cent. GameTech, calling themselves the Flappy Bird Foundation, claimed to be a team of passionate fans who'd acquired the original trademark. Yeah. You like birds, don't you? Do you like Flappy Bird? Even if there are passionate fans of Flappy Bird out there, and who knows, it's a big, weird world, I doubt they'd show their fanaticism by going to the US courts to yank the trademark away from the original creator. Nguyen said nothing about this, by the way, except that he's not involved and that he doesn't support crypto. That's a strange thing to say apropos of nothing. I thought these were just passionate fans. The director of the project is a guy called Michael Roberts. Let's just have a look at his formerly Twitter profile and... Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. It's all crypto. There's this old post here that says he's officially the owner of the brand/game Flappy Bird and he wants to relaunch it and bring it into Web 3. What's Web 3, Bill? So you know how originally the internet was just decentralized and just whoever ran servers and put websites on those servers and you could visit those websites, and then big tech got involved and we called that Web 2, where there was a lot more of these kind of social media walled gardens where individual websites could fill most of your online life and they were all owned by these big tech firms, as some say. But we all felt the shift from forums to social networks, right? Well, Web 3 is meant to be a return to decentralization. Except it's not, because it's being spearheaded by the same billionaire tech bro investors who centralized it all in the first place. All I mean by decentralized is put it on the blockchain, and I don't have to moderate it, or be legally responsible for the far right spreading race hate on my platform. We'll see how that plays out. It's basically objectivism, where everyone is only responsible for themselves. The strong are morally destined to dominate the weak, and the weak only exist to serve the strong. But that's what these people mean by egalitarian. They think that they should be able to get as rich as they like, and the rest of humanity who's not as rich just sort of exist to amuse them. Here's a quote from Ayn Rand, because why the hell not?
The man at the top of the intellectual pyramid contributes the most to all those below him, but gets nothing except his material payment, receiving no intellectual bonus from others to add to the value of his time. The man at the bottom, who, left to himself, would starve in his hopeless ineptitude, contributes nothing to those above him, but receives the bonus of all of their brains. Such is the nature of the competition between the strong and the weak of the intellect. Such is the pattern of exploitation for which you have damned the strong.
You hear that? That's what they want the internet to be. These are people who started at the top with all of the advantages that a birth can possibly offer and then fooled themselves into thinking that they'd earned their positions. There's not a billionaire alive who works harder than a nurse, I guarantee it. Hard work alone does not lead to success. You know what does? Being a leech. Billionaires are parasites who feed off the labour of people like you and me, turning it into profit for profit's sake. Their philosophy, Ayn Rand's philosophy, tells them that they are the top of the intellectual pyramid and all of humanity suckles at their teats. But they've got it all backwards. Who's doing the actual work? Who's doing the actual production? And who's controlling the means of production? And do you know what a billion is? In the USA, and we use the American term when we're talking about international billionaires, it's 1,000 millions. The average salary for a registered nurse in the US is $89,010 a year. Not bad, right? Well, to make their first billion, a registered nurse would have to work 11,235 years and spend nothing. Nobody deserves that much money. Nobody can possibly earn that much money. The only way to get $1 billion is exploitation on a massive scale. And every single billionaire is nothing more than a parasite on humanity and on our planet. Anyway, that's what Web 3 is. Little break. Little break. What breaks my heart about this, and should break yours too, is that Nguyen pulled his game because he saw that people were getting addicted to it and he saw how much harm it was doing. Now some soulless arsehole crypto bro has got hold of his trademark and is going to use exactly that aspect of it to deliberately harm people and to exploit their addiction. We already know this game will come with its own cryptocurrency called a Flap token. It'll be loaded with NFTs. And we've already seen from the trailer that it'll have all the microtransactions and level progression and loot crates we've come to expect from the most exploitative mobile games. Except far worse, because the guy spearheading it is a big crypto bro who runs D's Nuts NFTs. Come join the nut house as we laugh our way to the moon. Fuck you, Michael Roberts. And thank you to my channel members for supporting the channel. They are Ultra Muffin. Thanks, Ultra Muffin. I try to keep this channel wholesome and family friendly, and for the most part we are. But sometimes we have to get a little bit real as well, so thank you for letting me do that. I really hope the new Flappy Bird fails, and we all continue to have frustrated but fond memories of Dong Nguyen's original masterpiece. I didn't reach out to him for this video for obvious reasons, but if you're out there, I just want to say your game is awesome, and you're a cool guy who deserves every success. The original Flappy Bird is still out there, and it's not hard to play it or a faithful but unofficial port that someone's made on like a bunch of different devices. My top score is 36. Give it a go. Let me know in the comments how you do. Like and subscribe and all that, and join the channel if you want a shout out. And thanks for joining me for a little rant on the Retro Sofa.